All right, everybody, welcome. If you've stumbled across this channel in this live stream, welcome. What we're going to be doing today is going through some Deepcharts content. It's a platform to trade futures as well as other instruments depending on the brokerage and symbols available. So you can always check that out at deepcharts.com. But we're going to be doing a replay manager today where we go through a few days in February, starting at the beginning of February. I have no idea I remembered what happened, but we've pretty much been in the same range for the last 3 months. I would assume that we just been ranging up and down, up and down. So I kind of have an idea. I just don't know when. So we're going to have lots of opportunities to catch, ping ponging from the top to the bottom of these ranges. So, not only am I going to go over the backtester today, we're also going to go over the way I set up my charts in Deepcharts. There's so many options. There's so many ways to visualize the data, and that's why I like the profile, or that's why I like this particular platform the most. So that being said, first thing we're going to do is talk about my chart setup, and this is just the basic setup. You're going to see I have wider candles. These are called volume-based candles. So the more volume that was traded, there's going to be thicker volume. Now, another thing to note is that they're colored. The deeper the color actually represents delta, so aggressive selling in this case. And the lighter shade of purple means there was less. So there's a lot less volume and a lot less selling down here. So you're going to see strong selling. It starts to fade out, and then we get this little doji here. Then we get some buyers step in. We get some sellers defending. We get another stop with another doji before price moves up. Now, interesting thing about this is these are 5-minute charts. This is pretty clean. I mean, those are pretty clean chart candlestick patterns. Now, I'm not a candlestick pattern trader, but I do think you can use them for confluence when you have other things. Same thing with volume, and same, not necessarily how far price goes, but making sure there's volume in it. Because sometimes you have these really deep movements with very small volume, and essentially, here's an example of one right here, like this candle right here, just whipped through with very low volume. Compared to this first one had more volume. It wicked down and it slowly wicked all the way down, came back up, and then replaced. So there was something that happened right here. I could go back and look at news, but this right here, this is a crazy, this was a crazy candle right there. And that was on, what's that say, February? January? Is that February or January? We got this damn Eastern style dates. So that's January 30th. Okay. So this is February 1st. So something happened on February 1st. And this was at 1800. 1805 on February 1st. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. You get the idea. I'm kind of getting sidetracked. Let's weave back into place. So that candle right there. Notice how we left the range, tap back into 50% of it, left it, tap back into 50% of it, left it, came all the way out of it, tap back into it to 50%, tap back into the other side. So this is actually a pretty important candle to me. I mean, there's other areas that are also important, but that's a pretty important candle to me. Here, we're starting to get some consolidation, but price whipsawed through it multiple times. We do have some consolidation down here too. This is that you can kind of see we had significant volume traded back and forth before it rips up and rips down and try to find new value, and it kind of came down to this range over here. So I mean, we could say that's also might be even a more important area. Maybe not anymore, but that is, there's a lot of multiple mitigations in this zone. So we have another, I mean, if we went back, we could probably find more, but price was pretty high for quite some time. Up as far back as it goes. This is 10 days. So that's a multiple mitigation range. How important is it? I don't know, but what we're gonna do is we'll keep that on there for now, and we'll come back to it. So I wanted to show y'all a profile chart. This is a TPO profile chart, and this essentially shows you the daily time price opportunity profiles for the trading days. This is the last 30 days. So what we can see is we had this, spend most of our time in the center here, right? And we came down, tested the bottom, came back up, tested the top, came back down, tested the bottom. And even for the whole month of February, it's the same thing. We're just ping-ponging back and forth. So these are the levels of interest, in the area I'm going to stay away from is this middle area right here. I want to maybe take some trades out of this area, but I kind of want to stay. I don't want to take any trades in this area. I don't know. I might even, because this was such a big value area, I may even consider shortening that up, making it a little bit smaller. If I can put my cursor on it, because it's tiny as fuck. There it is. So I might even say that range right there, because it was the value area low multiple times. Also the PS. So I think that's the area. We could probably take trades from outside this area up, from outside this area down, and then back and forth, ping pong. We could probably take it between here and take it between here. So that's kind of the idea. We're going to try to work that range. And if it breaks out, we'll play the breakout on a retest. So that is my bias, I think, would be for us either to reject from this area right here, right now, because I don't have more than the 30 days of data up here, or maybe clean this low, maybe tap into something down here from the left before returning back to the point of control. Then maybe coming back down and retesting the value area high down here before coming up to, I don't know, the value area high before coming back to the point of control, before moving all the way up to test this or return to this range here before maybe pushing back down or going back up. So that's kind of my idea. I expect us to kind of make our way back up. Price is all the way up here right now at the value area high. So maybe we're already making our way up to the point of control before coming back to test the value area high before going up higher. Maybe we rip through, come back and test it, then go back up higher. So it's always good to just kind of have an idea of what to look for. So I'm going to err on the side of ranging, because it's been ranging since October, and nothing really has said that it's going to do anything else other than range. Obviously, we already know what happened, but I'm trying to be as realistic as possible here, just going off of the data that I have. And we're pretty much going to be going, we're going to be here. So let's get rid of that. Now, we need to do a few more things to set up the chart. So first thing we're going to do is add big trade bubbles. And since we're going to be trading the New York session, we're going to set this up for New York hours. That means we want at least big contracts aggregated from one player, maybe over multiple trades, but they all get combined into one and pop up a bubble for us. We want to make that 60. Then we want to add some color to it so that it pops out a little bit easier. I don't know, maybe we make them blue and pink. And then we need to change the size. So when it's 60, it prints a small bubble. And when it's like 200 or exponentially bigger, it prints a large bubble. Then we're going to add some zones in here. Same thing, we're going to make these like, let's make that pink and green. It'll all make sense in a minute, or we'll make it blue. I promise. And we're going to enable that biggest only. That looks good. Circle, show text, sure. Aggregated trades, everything looks good. Let's go ahead and apply. Awesome. So now it's showing us where big trades happened. Big players stepped in to protect the level, or to, in this case, push price up higher. You can also see where sellers stepped in. So it looks like the most recent thing was price got pushed up. Looks like exhaustion here. And not a lot of aggressive buying up at the top, and then price moved back down. Buyers try to step back in, failed, moved back down. Buyers step back in with volume and move the price all the way back up before rejecting and being absorbed probably by passive sellers waiting to sell to buyers who are willing to buy up here at the top. So that's kind of cool. That's one of the things I really like. Another thing I like to put on here, and since we're doing it for the day, is I'm going to put on a daily delta profile. Right, what this does shows where the levels at which the most aggressive buying and selling occurred. Now this is a daily, so it's only showing the last day. Right, so basically from here to here, you can see we have a couple levels of high interest, right? So this level right here, somewhere around there, see where these bubbles are. Got this level right here. It's just interesting, they're right in that area that I was referring to later or earlier. And then we have another one right here. And other than that, yeah, we don't have much. So that's tool number one. Next thing we're going to add in is a daily volume profile. Which you can use in conjunction. All right, we can see we have this high volume or volume node. We also had lots of aggressive buying right here. Actually, mostly buying once we left this zone, basically. What's funny is when it returned, it became a selling zone. So here it was a buying zone. Here it was a selling zone. Very interesting. So next time, is it a buying zone? Oh, look at that. Looks like it was a buying zone. All right, it came back through and got bought up. Closing at the value area high. So I would expect us to come back down before going up, maybe retest the point of one of these nodes down here that I have marked before continuing upward. And since this is out of the day, we could also do a weekly delta profile. I guess that's the first day of the week, so it's the same. Well, you could also do this. You could draw. Let me get rid of the daily here. And we could draw a volume profile with delta. We can see here too. Just trying to make some connections for you. That's a strong zone, right? Clear. We could see right here that was a strong zone. We can see right here that lots of selling volume, aggressive selling volume stepped in. We have some low volume nodes over here. So I could assume that this area is going to meet some force. And then here we had a lot of aggressive selling when then price just ripped down. So those are some levels I'm looking at, right? Obviously we can keep going up. But so that's my volume profile with delta. So now we don't need that. We can take that off because it's an eyesore. You can also remove the profile. I just have my levels. So that's pretty cool. There's other things we can do as well, but for now I think this is enough to make it happen. Oh, speed of tape. My bad. There are a couple more things we need to add. So speed of tape lets me see how fast the market is moving. And the higher, it's more deviation from the norm. This is one standard deviation for speed, and 2. So the faster it's going, obviously there's volume being pumped. So we added speed of tape. I also like to add a composite volume profile. I don't think it's composite though. I think it's just volume profile or deep profile. So we add deep profile and we're going to make it, how is it? Composite. I don't see it though. Where's it at? Volume composite. Volume composite. Where you at? You kidding me? Oh, is it way back there? What? Oh shit. Yeah, I don't want it over there. I want it on the right side. It doesn't look very good, right? There we go. All right, so now I have a composite profile for the 10 days that are shown. So clearly now we can see this is value area high. This is a high volume node in the value area low where there was a lot of force and effort. Then we have some of these other little checkpoints. Yeah, pretty cool. So now that we have, I think everything's set up. Wait, what happened to my delta? Didn't I have daily delta? Yeah, there we go. And then there's no speed of tape. Now we're going to start our back testing. So we're going to start at 9:30 a.m. All right, so I'm just going to put it on one speed and 9:30 a.m. Okay, so we're starting to play. And we're going to keep an eye. And this is a 5-minute chart. What we're going to do is we're going to change it to a 40 range chart. So this means every 40 ticks, price creates a new candle instead of time. So it's going to move a lot faster with volume. So it'll print more candles. So as you can see, the time is moving here, 9:29. As soon as we hit 9:30, you can see the speed of tape is already increased. At 12:29, it's actually some pre-market movement. And we just hit 9:30. Lots of buying pre-market, moving the price up. So as we said before, we can expect it. Oh, let me also add a trading terminal. We can take some trades there. This is 1x speed, so it's moving quickly, right? So that's why I like these range charts. It really shows you with volume. So there's still volume pushing. Sellers are starting to step in. Some buyers, down here, sellers, buyers, or sellers got absorbed? No. Sellers got absorbed, yes. And now we come back into this range that I anticipate us getting a reaction from. And it looks like we may be consolidating for a minute or taking a breather from this burst up. Now this one move in 6 minutes here, 117 points. And we did get a reaction. Price moved back down. So you have to be quick. So the 40 range is more of a scalping time frame. So you have to be ready. So everything has to be ready. So by looking at the time-based, or volume-based candles, you can really see if the movement has any force behind it. And by seeing the colors, you can see whether aggressive or buyer sellers are. You can see here, even though price is going up, it's starting to turn pink or purple. Therefore, we know that sellers are stepping in. So that could be a point where I take a quick short, right? But we can also see the speed of the tape is moving pretty fast right now. We're still in the first 1 minute of the New York session. So you can see how quickly these bars print. So it's really good for scalping. Now we're in the middle of that range that I had identified. And we're continuing to push up. Starting to find a little bit of resistance. Wicking up to the top of that zone. We break through it. Sellers are trying to step in, but price keeps going up. So these are aggressive sellers being met by passive buyers willing to take on the price, but the sellers win momentarily, pushing it back to about 70% of the zone that we just marked a little bit earlier based on whatever I was looking at. That's what we mark it. So we just know that's an area. Now we can see right here that a little bit of aggressive buying is stepping in this area right here. I can see that over here to the right. I can also see this red peak, high volume node. So we're starting to get our consolidation again after the push before the next move. So drive up, consolidation, come back, retest, holds the level and goes higher. Either way, we're going to wait for a break through this level to take a long up if we can maintain price above this level right here, this red area. So if we break back down below and come back and retest it and continue to go, we could also take a short down to the bottom. But I'm not going to trade between these two red zones or inside of them. So these are the boundaries, and I need to be outside the boundary. So that looks pretty good so far. Looks like we may be setting up for a short here. So now we have sellers and buyers fighting a little bit here. Two-way trades happening. Sellers are having an opportunity to respond to push the price back down, or are they going to accept higher prices? Right now, we just tap back into 50% of that zone before leaving it again. And if we leave the zone, and print a couple green candles here with volume. Actually, if we break this low, I'm going to start to get ready. Right? Maybe have a tap back and push out. And if we break this high, we're just going to hang out until we get here. No need to cuck around in the middle. So this is real time. So we broke through. Could definitely take a long here. Up to the other side. We're definitely going to hit this low volume node before it decides to come back or just rocket up to the next area. So that move happened pretty quickly. All right, we should get some resistance. We could bounce back and forth up here too. So that's our next impulse. This is 6 minutes in. We're back into our next zone where we expect to see a reaction. We tap into nearly 50% of the range. You can start to see the aggressive sellers stepping in. Buyers are still trying to push. Zoom in a little bit. And pretty good volume happening up here. Sellers in control. Now you can see aggressive sellers are trying to push the price down, but passive buyers are continuing to absorb it all and just eat it up and move price up. But we're still in the middle of this range. So until we can break this range, retest it, I'm not interested, right? So we're just still hanging out. Now, generally when you see these zones, that's an aggressive push up with effort. Price leaves these zones before coming back to them. But I would expect, since this is kind of, mean, if you looked at a different chart, I might look at a fair value gap, but whatever. I don't do that shit. So what I see is a big player stepped in right here. And if price comes back to it, they're going to defend it. Okay, so they're not just going to rip through this level. It's not going to, it's highly unlikely to happen. This level looks like there's a lot of selling pressure, aggressive selling pressure that's pushing price back. So I do think, I said I wasn't going to take any trades between these two areas, but I do think if we get a bounce off of this zone right here, somewhere between here and here, we could take a little long scalp back up to the top. So let's do that just for fun. We're on a sim account. This is internal to Deepcharts. We'll add a limit buy order. I'm going to put it right at the top here. We put our stop loss. These sellers got absorbed. So this is a good place for the stop loss. 650. And our take profit, it's not enough, right? Take profit, it's going to come back to there. So let's see what happens. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. This is 8x speed. Second, pause it down for a second. Now it looks like our secondary play might come into play, but we still are holding that. So this zone is, as marked, really strong, responsive selling effort and buying, right? So it's crazy. What happens? Does it continue to drive up, or does it get rejected back down to repair some of these imbalances of sellers, or excuse me, buyers overtaking sellers? So we wicked through that, took out all the highs, and now we're likely now it's a buy. If we come back in and we test this range and come back out, it's a buy. Hopefully we don't miss the entire move, right? Which it looks like we are. So we tapped out of it, tapped back in. I guess this could have been a buy right here. Technically, we probably could have entered right here, but that was fast. You got to be on it. This is at 1x speed. Now that was 8 times speed. So we see we got sellers selling pressure, push the price down. Big purple candle, deep purple, right? With at least one aggregated big player of 60 or more contracts. We could zoom in and you can see the number in there. I think it says 96. Okay, so we're waiting on the move back down. I guess I could also take a short. If we get another response here, I could take a short to the bottom. So limit sell. I don't think it's coming back though, but we can try. That was pretty strong. With this strong selling pressure here, it's going to need a lot of momentum to continue to push the price up, I think. So we're going to try to take a short right on that level. We're going to keep our stop really tight. Call it So we'll speed it up and see what happens. Does it retest? Looks like we missed it by a couple ticks. All right, so that's invalid. Now on a retest here and some force, let's go back to 1. If we break back through this level here with a strong fat green candle, we're going to buy it. So we just bought. Oh, they didn't give it to us. Market buy. All right, see how fast the tape is moving? That was all in like 1 second, right? Aggressive buying, speed of tape moving up. I think we're going to go back up. Just based on the price action. Let's close that down. Our stop loss is going to be on the other side here. And our take profit is going to be at the bottom of this shelf. I mean, technically, we could take profit at the last area that we saw heavy selling pressure, which looks like to be this low volume node right here. And I'm going to reduce risk to behind this buying burst. Taking on a little more than 1-to-1 risk here, but I have good protection. Price is holding above this zone. And let's speed it up a little. I mean, these sellers may not even be there anymore. So technically, this valley here, which is a low volume node next to a high volume node, this seems like a pretty good area. We could likely take it all the way up to here. But the thing about that is we're going to have to endure some pullbacks and some stress. So I'd rather just take some profit and then get on out of there and then re-enter. So we did have sellers step back in, this time even a little bit lower. So that's not the best sign, but it could just be a little bit of a pullback. I do expect, what's that? How many points is that? 51 points. I do expect us to retrace about 40 points. So it should come, I would expect it to come back to my start in some cases, or to my entry. So we missed it by a tick right here. So maybe we got a little bit of greedy and we should have put it on the high volume node, but I kind of feel like we're going to hit this, tap into this low volume node here on the composite profile. Another thing we can do Let's put the daily profile back on. You can kind of see that we are above the value area for the day, and we're creating multiple levels or shelves above the value area. So I feel pretty good about this trade, right? This could actually go all the way up to here, but we're going to get out right here and just be happy. Save us some anxiety if we make it that far. So this is kind of how I use deep charts. Now there's another indicator I can add on here that I'll show y'all that's kind of cool. It's based on quantitative research done by one of the members of the team there, and it's primarily a 440 range chart. It's made for scalping, and it's called, looks like we got our profit target, and it looks like it's going to continue to run up even higher. That's okay. Let me pull this up here. So there's two of them. One is based on the initial balance, and one's called deep effort. This kind of shows you like zones where if you feel like price is trending or moving in a certain direction, you could use those as entry locations. So here there was a lot of effort in the move. You see we have a fatter green candle that also kind of shows you, right, of all these, this is the fattest, most volume candle, and it's green, so it was aggressive buying pressure. So that's likely to be protected, even though we didn't see big trades in it. No big trade bubbles of over 60. If I lowered that threshold a little bit, just for fun, right? This is how we learn. I'm going to reduce that to 30. And let's see if anything prints in that zone. No. So, up here. Okay, right here. So we just had another one print. All right, so if we want to scalp it, we could take the shot here, put our stop loss behind these protected orders, and put our take profit, I don't know, 2 to 1. In this case, I think this high volume node here on the composite profile. This may actually give us some information too. So we have a little bit of a battle happening here. Aggressive buyers are actually pushing the price up. These sellers got absorbed. These aggressive sellers got absorbed. Price is continuing to push up. So it may not even come back. We're still looking for a pullback to one of these two zones to continue long. So that's kind of what those help. And these are showing pressure, green candles, pressure to the upside. So this is a strong move. All right, we have a strong move. But we are coming up on this high volume node here. If we just market smashed it, you can see all of this aggressive. We could just market smash that. Just so much aggressive movement here. And that's what's causing this effort zone to print. It's just all that aggressive movement. A lot of effort was used to push the price up. So now we can see sellers are starting to step in. Aggressive sellers, fat purple candle, some aggressive sellers fighting. These buyers are going to also continue to protect. So we got a big battle right here. This line is very heavy right here. So there's a lot going on right there. So if we take a scalp, we're likely going to take it back to here, which is going to give us about a 1-to-1 trade. So already up 1,000 on the day. So the idea for me, especially with deep charts, is to essentially let it give me the information, print it in front of my face, and then I could just act on it, and I don't have to be emotional at all. So it looks like we pushed through. So here's a spot. This is kind of dangerous because the old me would likely just enter right here. So we see all of these aggressive buyers, but because there are sellers fighting, and these aggressive buyers here at the top at this composite 10-day volume profile, they got absorbed again. So like probably this has been absorbed at this level multiple times. So even though we broke through that level, there's no clear indication to me that we're going to continue to go up. Now, if we go down, so you just got absorbed heavy, lots of selling pressure, aggressive selling, pushing right back through those zones where aggressive buyers tried to continue to push the price. And now it looks like we're coming back down to our previous buying zones or not. Are we going to take another attempt to burst through the wall? If we burst through the wall here, I think our next level is going to be this point of control up here. So whatever the case may be, I'd love to see a pullback, but otherwise I'm going to have to wait until we get up here somewhere. Let's put a little zone there. Okay, we're still getting some buying pressure. Let's do that now market smash. So we're going to close this one out. Stop loss 500. Take profit right there. 745. So this is why I love this program. It's just the speed of it, the way I can set the indicators up, the way I can have everything visually appealing, and using the aggregated trades is actually the key. I use it for a lot of different indicators. This is just one of the templates that I use. Depending on my mood, I might, and what type of trading, I would never use this for swing trading because this is more of a scalping, 40 range scalping chart. So we're not looking for huge moves all the time. We can find them sometimes, but we're generally just trying to scalp, 1 to 2, 2 to 1, or we're just looking for these areas where price is going to ping pong back and forth between. Another feature, I'll just show you how it works. I wouldn't generally do this for this trade probably because I don't have, but when price gets above this level right here, I'm going to tell it to start trailing, and you'll see that the trailer starts to come up, reducing my risk. This is just a straight impulse up, right? It's going to go for that point of control and VWAP. So I'm confident with my location. So we're risking 265 right now to make 745. So this is just pressure, right? Effort to start the move, continued urgency, and it's going for an important level. Now here's another cool thing. I mean, other platforms have something like this, but another indicator I like to add on here. There's never enough, right? important levels. So let's add that, and I'm going to make a couple changes to it. I'd like to make that a little bigger. Show text online. And is that under color set or what is it? Label inline, space label. That should be good. It's on the left, which is fine because we have all this other shit on the right. Okay, so now it's also printed really important levels for me. So this is the -1 day value area high. Did I miss it by a tick? Did I miss it by a tick? Look at that. Talk about precision. Look at that. I missed it by a few ticks. By like, I don't know, a few points, a few ticks. So we got a little bit of a bounce back there. Now, if my risk tolerance suited me, we're already back to break even. I could add another one in, which I'm going to right here. I'm going to add another contract in with that deeper stop loss with our take profit right here. Of course, we'll close it out if we don't get filled before it hits our first TP. But technically, do I understand that these effort zones are valid until they get broken or disabled? They automatically will invalidate themselves. So if I wasn't confident, I would move this stop down and just take profit. But I'm confident for many reasons. One, I have a high volume node here. We had a strong, aggressive push up with lots of green, aggressive buying. Sellers absorbed some of it, but they got pushed through, and we're still seeing buying pressure. So this is really a big battle. And it wouldn't be wrong just to get out right here. But we're so close to a very important target. It's like a magnet. Price is just trying to go there. And we just made it. So now we're looking probably to reverse. All right, now my bias is switching. So we're out of this zone. We're just going to get rid of that zone. What I would do is if this zone stays valid, I might take a long from here with our stop loss, maybe behind, just real tight on this one, maybe behind that little volume shelf, and just go for something like that. Oh, that wasn't right. $260 to win 335. Or I could take a short back to this zone as well, right? So we tapped into, man, I'd like to tap into a little bit higher. Be nice if we could make it all the way to the top of this zone here. Tap into this. Like, I think I'm a seller if we get to, I think I'm a seller right here. With my stop loss right here and my take profit back here. So that's a 1-to-1 basically. So either of those trades work for me right now. I tend to not wait for confirmation because I trust the levels, and if they break, they break. It's okay. No big deal at all. So aggressive buyers are still trying to push through, but we should get a little resistance here. But no, lots of buying. Look at the speed of tape. Buyers pushing in. Are sellers going to absorb it, or are they going to continue to push higher is the question. Looks like it's pushing higher and we get stopped out. So we're lose on that trade. So that's one of the downfalls, right? Sellers are getting absorbed here if you just go in without confirmation. I could re-enter here though, but not yet. Okay, so this is an up zone, so that's a lot of effort. So technically, this is a market buy with a stop loss. Safe. Let's get rid of this other with our profit. Fuck, all the way up here? Man, that's what it looks like to me. Man, for a short scalp, yeah, all the way up to there. Shit, it could go all the way up here. I mean, we know we're getting there. It's a low volume node. Fuck. It's risking 620 to win 910. This is getting tricky. Now there's a strong selling effort here, so I'm not liking this too much. So what I'm likely going to do is exit this trade. I'm going to try to actually just take a little bit and then get out, because it could definitely reject and come back down. No doubt about it. Starting to build a high volume node right here. And my stop's going to be really tight here. So we're out. Now I'm looking for a short. So we're almost an hour into the session. So one more indicator that we can put on here, it's just like it's never enough, right? Is the initial balance. Deep IVB. And what that does is it will mark out our first hour, which we still have 9 minutes left. So this is a no trade zone for me. So if we can break this zone right here with some effort, I will take it all the way up to here. If not, I would if this zone stays active, I would take a long from here on a pullback, stop loss behind the absorption and pressure move. It's a long stop. That's 1,000. We don't want to risk that much. Let's put it behind this effort zone that we put before. And then our take profit's going to be all the way back up. Probably to the point of control VWAP or higher. So if we break this zone back down to the bottom and break below the VWAP and point of control and hold, I would be okay taking a short back down to this blue line as well. Let's speed it up a little. This is 8x speed. So we've had a lot of upward impulse. This is the most selling effort that we've seen yet. So it's going to be hard to break through this level. So we have some buying pressure here. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can break through this zone, because this is going to be a market smash sell if we bust through that zone there. Yep, sell. So now our stop loss is going to be up here. It's a big stop. And our take profit is going to be all the way down here. So take profit right here. Well, I created a second zone. Stop loss behind here. And that's a big stop. I don't like this. That probably wasn't the best trade location wise, because I have to put a pretty wide stop, but that's only 495. 495 to make 495, 500. We do need to get to this level where sellers just got absorbed by buyers again. We could clearly just continue up here, right? But we're going to assume that we can get back to this buyer's imbalance where there might be some more transactions to kind of clean up this area. I mean, the safest stop here is going to be up here. Maybe just keep it behind this strong selling candle with a little bit of space, just in case. So reduced our risk a little bit. So now we're going to invoke the trailing. Once it crosses this line, just reducing our risk. If we take an L, that's fine, but we have pretty good momentum here. We're likely going to hit the target. So we moved into this positive 70. Could always re-enter too, right? But that's a lot of selling pressure. Buyers are eating it up though. So buyers are definitely stepping in right there. It's likely that I do get stopped out here, but we're up to $145 in profit. So no sweat, right? We might hit our target. We do have a little bit of protection right there. It should go away from that pressure maybe down to the next level before we break back through it. It tends to leave this area, and we pretty much, buyers just popped right back through. So pretty cool though. We still came out with a little bit of profit there. Um, we're gonna look to sell again from right here with the stop loss behind the zone. And we'll, oh, that was too quick. I didn't want to get out yet. I didn't even have time to drag my stop down. Good trade. Um, but I'm out of it now. But I would have basically taken it probably down to right here where the aggressive sellers got absorbed. So above there, likely right here. Too late to re-enter though. All right, so a lot of absorption. So sellers just eating up the aggressive buying. So we're 1 hour and 3 minutes into this February 1st session. The bias is neutral. So this IBV indicator will tell you how often you might have a single break, double break. It's calling it consolidation. So 44% of the time, the ranges consolidate and we don't have a breakout. So we failed to break the initial balance high, which is right here. And we failed to break the initial balance low, which is, where the hell is it? You got too many lines here. I don't even know where it is. I got too much shit. Need to get rid of this daily profile. Oh, that's the initial balance middle. Here it is, all the way down here. So this value area low on the composite. So we've extended pretty well. It does look like it's just going to revert back to the other side. So this may actually be a very, very, we may be able to hold this trade for a long time. Now this zone has been invalidated for whatever reason. I don't know why they do it. Maybe it's time. But for now, it's saying that this zone is no longer valid. There's also some more levels, but they won't show up until after the initial balance gets broken to one side or the other. So it's interesting that there's this zone that I marked exactly is where there was lots of two-sided trade and effort to almost responsive selling to push the price back down. Price came in back into this zone before leaving back into the opposite effort zone. So you can see it's even ping-ponging back and forth between these zones. So maybe you can take the zone more than once. I don't know. Probably have to just look for some more information to tell me that I can take the zone again. Speed of tape's pretty slow right now. It's like the market's taking a little breather. Again, it's a big battle zone. You can see lots of aggressive buying and selling. 100, that's a pretty big order on the NASDAQ. We got 82 up here. These buyers were not rewarded. Price rejected. These sellers were not really rewarded. These buyers are not rewarded yet. Sellers. So all of these guys are just hanging out in the center. Prices below the daily point of control, the pink line, and the daily VWAP, which is the yellow dotted line. We're now at the composite VWAP. Wonder if that's only showing one day. Almost look like it's the daily. Need to check. No, it's different. Okay. So we're back up in that zone. It's a no trade area for me at the moment. And I would venture to say that this zone right here got invalidated because we had lots of two-way trade happening here where the effort on both sides was affecting the validity of this particular range. Sellers just got absorbed. They're pushing price higher. Looks like we're going back to test the initial balance high again. But we want to wait for a break. Ooh, speed of tape flying. I think we're on 8x speed though. That's not what we want. We don't want that. Limit buy right here. So we want to get in down there if we're going to get in. But I do anticipate us possibly breaking that range or maybe fake out. So we're still keeping our eye on shorts as well. Okay, we can speed it up again, back to 8x. So now we're at 10:38 New York time, February 1 on this particular. Okay, so we get hit. We can take profit back to the IBV high. Or now that we see this zone printing, we need to take it here. But we get stopped out. So I think we can start. We're on 8x, so it's moving a little faster, but we're just going to keep this going because we all kind of have an idea of how this is working now. Now we have an idea that we're going to take profit all the way back down to the other side with that lower high, sorry. Probably make a lower low here. Before. So it just didn't come back. So now we have this range. We can take, ooh, that one broke through. Yeah, trying to backtest on 8x is just too much. So the zones aren't 100%. You still have to use your noggin to figure it out. But I remember I told you this blue level is a very important level, right? Well, watch this. I can put another sell order there. Stop loss behind protection. Take the profit back down to the next important level. So this is essentially how I trade now. I love it. Absolutely love it. Um, to me, I don't know if it makes sense to y'all, but to me, it makes sense. I don't need all these indicators on the screen either. I think this is a pretty, for me, it's not busy because I 100% I understand what everything is that I'm looking at. The area that I need to work on is analyzing more information faster. Okay, we could definitely see, I could take a long here for sure. No, that zone is no longer good. Zone's no longer good. So it flipped. Looks like it flipped. We get stopped out on this first one. We'll take it again a second time. So we'll just put this from here. We'll take on double the risk. To take profit back up to the initial balance high. Maybe we don't make it all the way up to the initial balance high. Maybe this high volume node right here that I marked before. Or we make it a quick scalp back to the POC, but it already made it to the POC. So I'm going to treat these as no-go. And I'm looking for a short again after make our way back up to the initial balance. Looking for push back down from there. Okay, it's giving me the zone. I'm going to take it. So we got filled. We're just trading one mini, y'all. Right? Just one mini. Taking it back to the IBV high. Now we're already up 400. We're already up 1-to-1. So if price gets up there, we'll start trailing it up and reduce our losses if it doesn't pan out. But lots of buying up here. We got some selling, but I think we at least retest the IB high and maybe consolidate here for a while at lunch before we make another move for New York lunch before we make a move to the top. Yeah, it's not good. We came back and tapped that range a second time. But we already made our decision. We put on our risk and we're okay taking the loss. So we're just going to trust our plan. Nothing wrong with bailing out, but there's nothing that's convinced me yet that like we're dead in the water. It could just be a pullback, right? We flipped. It could definitely come all the way back to here, right? And we get stopped out, no big deal. All right, that's part of trading. Learning how to take losses is a very important skill without getting emotional about it. Lots of pressure down. So we definitely look like we're in a consolidation. Um, honestly, at this point, we're in a no trade zone. So I'm going to take off all these drawings just to simplify, right? Because I can't even focus. So we can do this though. We can clearly see that this is the area where all of the volume, not only for this session, but also for the last 10 days right here. So we need to break this area before I want to take another trade, right? I'm perfectly fine taking a trade out of this area or up to the top, but I'm not touching anything in this area. Although we're in the value area high, right? I mean, there's nothing that's shown me that price is going to break through this range yet. And if it does, we're going to probably move all the way up to this previous day open. Okay, we're getting close. So once we get to that level, we'll put the speed back to, okay, let's put the speed back to 1. So now we're going back to 1. I want to see a little bounce here. So we're back to the IBV high. This is initial balance high, I believe. Or is that the weekly high? No, it just created the weekly high. Did we already break out? Yeah, we already broke out. Single breakout 47% of the time. The bias for the algorithm is up. So we're going to look to go up. And there's a protection zone up here where we could safely say could go to. We also have a couple important levels here. Previous day high, previous day open. So this might be a really good opportunity to make some money. So we're going to rotate all the way back down to the other side. So we could trick a trade back down to the VWAP because we're outside this range now. But looks like sellers, lots of buying pressure, but sellers absorbing. Do I think sellers are absorbing? Buyers are still pushing. You know what we're going to do here? Sellers are in control. Buyers are in control. Sellers are fighting back. Lots of selling pressure. So I'm going to take a shot right here. Super tight. Stop. when I see all those buyers getting absorbed, that tells me that there's a good chance we reject here. And I'm taking a 265 chance. And if not, we're going all the way back down to the VWAP. So 265 to make 585. Aggressive buyers are winning though. Like they're winning. Price is moving up. Sellers are doing their best to push it back down, but buyers are in control. We've had shit. After that sell, buyers just rip right back through it. Algorithm says the bias is long. That's why you got to use your brain. The more I do this, the more things just make sense to me. And we could have got out right there at break even. That would have been the old me. Now the new me, I'm not going to break even because I've already made my plan. And there's nothing that has invalidated my plan yet. And I have very strong risk set here. I got 10 points. Risking 10 points here. Lots of negative delta. Prices being rejected. Yeah, I like this. We still got a lot of pressure to work through. So I didn't really talk about it much, but if we look at these swings, right? This swing right here was about 63 points. This bigger swing right here was about 96 points. This swing was about 84 points. So we could expect at least 60 points of downside movement. This puts us at 40 points right here. And 52 points if we go all the way back to the point of control. Well, depends on which point of control, but this one is point of control. We have the composite point of control right here. I'm going over the composite and I'm thinking the VWAP as well because there's just higher time frame levels that I just think might be stronger. I might get a little more resistance from, or more of a fight from. So buyers are making another attempt. This isn't looking the best for us. We're going to stick to our plan. Please stop me out, right? That's my new saying. Please stop me out. I dare you. So we had a opportunity to go to break even. We went against the bias of the algorithm. Thought we were smarter. But what we saw was valid. And we're still not stopped out, but I think we get stopped out here. If not, damn, my stop placement is good. There's no way this makes it through. There's no way. Still aggressive buyers, big trades popping at the top here. It just smells extension right now. You're just gonna see like two big aggressive bubbles just rip straight up here. One tick. Insane. Totally insane. No way in hell. Here's where I'm like, get me out. Break even. That's a win. Nope. A win is sticking to the plan and accepting the consequences of your actions. And if you want to be able to do it in real time, you need to practice it. So then when it actually comes to play in real life, you just do it without changing your mind. At the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting out and looking for a better spot. But the truth is this is a good spot. Like, it's the exact spot that I would be looking for. Now, if we break through this level right here, this 25,900, I'd be perfectly fine starting to trail at that point. So by the time we get down here, we'll be back at break even. So if we do get some kind of crazy move, like right here, maybe more sellers step in again and this time get to push it down. But it's 12 o'clock New York time for this session, 12:12 to be exact, and kind of feel like volatilities are, it's going to be pretty range bound for the next hour. I don't see why we can't retract 30, 40 points though after that 90-point move. Let's speed it up to 8x. I'm going to put a time rule on my trades. If it doesn't play out within a certain amount of time, I'm out. But the truth is, this was only like 12 minutes. So from 06 to 20, well, what time was this right here? Can barely read the screen. 12:10 to 12:21. So this is 11 minutes right here. This whole consolidation effort. I'm still not convinced that we don't get stopped out. We're just in a really a battle zone. Right, there's a pretty good sign here. Now that I'm looking at it, um, we're getting stopped out because look at the sellers. They got to absorb how many times here, right? How many times? Crazy. That happened fast. Aggressive buyers, sellers absorb it, step in, and start to push the price down. So I was just a little bit early. Is that what happened? So sellers are winning right here after buyers won a small battle right here. Yeah, so I think the bias is continuing to move up towards these protection levels. So um buy from right here. Still in that battle zone. We break through that zone again, it's going. Like it's going up. Again, this is the lunch hour. Speed it back up. We do get in here. Thing is we need a really tight stop. I don't like that. I guess we could. Absorptions seem to be happening higher and higher. Oh no, I think it's a quick scalp. This is at 8 times speed, by the way, so it just popped in there quick. So the speed is a little faster than what it's truly moving. It's kind of playing the extremes of this battle zone. Nice little scalp. Retesting. This might be our breakthrough. There it is. More room to the upside. So I think we're going up. So that's 8x. So you can tell how slow the market is right now. So in about 8 minutes, time wise, the should go a little faster. Let's go 40x. All right, now we're back into New York trading hours. So more absorption at the top here. Move it to 40. See if we get filled here. All right, we got filled. So this is our trade. This is our big one for the day. We're going to risk 1,500 to make 1,800. And then we're going to call it a stream because I'm getting tired. I'm just going to speed it up. This is my home run trade of the day. Let's see what happens. As soon as price gets above here, I'm going to start to trail it, meaning reducing my risk. Oh shit, what happened? I didn't mean to do that. Let's buy back in. Oh, we took it 2,800. That's fine. I meant to take it all the way up. So let's just see what happens. Let's just speed it up. I meant to take it all the way up here, but we're not going to do that. I have my stop way down here. So essentially, the play was buy there. I would have got stopped out. So lucky me, right? Lucky me. It looks like the day ends at the point of control. I still had some trades there, but these zones plotted pretty well. Back up. So it did consolidate. Close up right here in the middle. The point of control and the VWAP. So we'll just stop it right there. 2840 on the day. Couple mistakes. Pretty good backtesting session, and that is essentially how I'm trading now. And I love it. It's super simple, super easy. Make the best decision possible. Find information levels, confluence, other indicators that give you the good levels and good entries and good protection when you're in. So y'all have a good one. If you actually watch this to the end, you are a crazy person. But